Hey, welcome to this episode of Ruff Talk VR. Today we're talking about Cosmonious High. So I guess you could say
Only a
it's
couple months overdue.
it's kind of part 3 in our Owlchemy Labs trifecta. We had
Yep.
previously reviewed Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator by popular request of our Patreon members. And we've been recently asked, when's Cosmonious coming? So it was time to finish it. We went into it. We had made some progress, of course, went to some other things, obviously, got a little distracted, but we were chipping away at it a bit. And then, you know what, we wrapped things up. But here's the thing about Cosmonia. So let me lay out some facts about it, and then we'll get into some opinions and thoughts. So on the fact side, it's made and published, developed and published by Owlchemy Labs. It's $29.99 on the official MetaQuest store. It is top rated with 4.7, 775 reviews, and 435 written reviews. And the reason, I should say 775 total ratings with 435 of those being written reviews. And the reason why this is number 3 in our, list of Owlchemy Lab game reviews is because it's the most recent one. It came out March 31st, 2022. I'll say it's 3.3 gigabytes. So anybody want to make note of that for next time Shoes comes around with guess the gigabyte. Cosmonious High is 3.3. It's listed as an adventure game, but I would describe this as an interactability sandbox. And there is a story to it. There's voice acting, but they take all the interactability that they created in Job Sim and expand it upon in Vacation Sim and pump it full of steroids and just go completely crazy. I've often found myself wasting time, I guess you would say, going with the intention to make story progress in the game, and I just kill 40 minutes doing nothing but just interacting with the game. The characters, they'll high-five you, they'll fist bump you, you can wave at them, which is an interaction they created in previous games to start the dialogue, but in this one, a kind of talk bubble can pop up, and there you can select conversational options to continue, so you really even can engage with the NPCs. So Owlchemy Labs took everything that worked in those first 2 games in the series, like I said, pumped them full of steroids, made it, in my opinion, probably the most kid-friendly version of it so far, and just went crazy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a sandbox. I call it open world high school.
Yeah, well, it's called Cosmonious High.
So yeah, you're in a high school.
Yeah, it's
Future high school. Or I wouldn't say a future. It would be more like another planet type high school.
It's important to say, Vacation Sim and Job Sim, they were in the same universe. They were almost like a continuation, Vacation Sim being the second in the series. Cosmonious High is, by all purposes that I discovered, unless there's some hidden Easter egg that I didn't see, it's its own universe. It's its own IP.
The characters alone scream that.
Yeah, you're in a high school in its own fantasy realm with all these different species, and I can't even...
And you're the noob.
You're the noob. Your name's Prismi, and you crash into the school on day 1. Welcome to school on your first ever day. Cause a whole bunch of fires. The school's malfunctioning. The AI is just out of its mind. People who played Vacation Sim will remember the computers kind of decided to take a turn. The efficiency bot, I believe his name was, he had to make sure that the vacations were as efficient as possible and people are having as much fun. They made you hit, kind of like credit requirements to continue the story. This follows that same model where, there's 100 total credits in the game to unlock as you go through the school. But you need to get a certain amount to advance in the story. It's not just an open sandbox. It'll be at a certain point, you're going to need 30 credits to continue. Another point, 45,
Well, they grease you into it really good with the way it begins.
Yeah,
Then the problem is you start exploring and you realize how big the area is, and you're like, oh, damn, there's so much to do.
Yeah, that's what happened to us. Like I said, you crash in. It's day one. You're a character named Prismi, which I can't even really describe. Again, all the species in this game are like nothing you've seen before. It's like
Oh.
Dr. Seuss material, you know?
Yeah.
That's the closest comparison I can come to. They're all their
Dr.
own
Seuss
unique.
meets Salvador Dali.
Yeah, it's trippy. I mean, the whole color scheme of the game, everything's like purple and blue and yellow, and it's very bright, very vibrant, very child friendly. This whole game, you know, there might be a adult joke hidden in that you would only understand as an adult, like, you know, they used to do in SpongeBob and stuff like that. If you ever go back and watch old cartoons that you watched as a kid, you go, wow, there were some references that I didn't catch as an adult. There's that type of stuff. I mean, as a kid.
Family Guy probably takes the cake for that.
Well, Family Guy is very much adult
yeah.
cartoon in
But
and of itself.
Kids could watch it.
Yeah, and miss a lot of the humor. But Cosmonious High, and the feel of it feels geared towards kids. Like I said, there might be a couple adult jokes, but there's no way a kid's going to pick it up.
No, but I mean, the age which I would think would, because some of the puzzles, they're not easy. And even some of the tasks, like just to get the credit.
Yeah,
It's
there's
not
some
the
thought
easiest.
that goes into it.
Yeah,
Oh, I
so it's like-
struggled at moments.
So it's like, it might be like kid friendly looking, but adult play for sure.
But so you crashed into this school, and just like a real high school, there's different classes, and more importantly, there's different students, and each student seems to be its own species. Even when you get there, they're like, "Oh, whoa, a new species arrives to the school." I'm like, "Wow, is there only one of each species in Cosmonious High?" That was kind of the vibe I got, because they refer to you at times as the new species, or other times the new student. And then so you can meet everybody. It's a pretty loaded cast of unique characters and personalities, to say the least. You know, might be a goth kid, the nerdy one, the jock. There's a whole plethora of different characters. And like I said at the start, you can wave at all of them, interact with them, talk with them, pick up a side mission, maybe learn about a crush, learn about their background, their interests, you know, really build a relationship with them. And then there's all of your different type of classes, you know, what would be algebra or astrology, but they're not. They're named something funky in typical Owlchemy Labs fashion. And they're it's like the music class. It's great. It's laid out in a very silly, wacky way. And then you have these magical powers as Prismi, which there's a whole bunch of different ones, but
magical.
I don't know, what else would you call them? Special powers, I guess. So that's a good one. But they're on your hands, and each hand can have a different power each time. But you start with really none of them, and you unlock them as you progress through the story.
Well, they give you water pretty quick.
Yeah, water, and
You
then
have to put out the fires that you started from crashing into the school.
I don't think it's ever been said that you were steering that ship. Whoever crashed into that,
It wasn't your fault, but it becomes your problem.
I believe you crashing into the school was partly because of the AI malfunctioning.
And not only do you there's so much fixing in the school that you got to do, up to and including throwing all the trash that seems to accumulate.
Yep.
So it's like, it's not my fault the school bus crashed, or the space bus crashed into the school.
Yeah, and beyond just the damage of the crash, though, like I said, the AI's malfunctioning, and it's a futuristic, you know, space school. A lot of the school is AI, so
Everyone
everything
seems
a
to
little
be
wacky.
pretty calm and cool about fires and shit going on around them, though.
I get the feeling the day-to-day in Cosmonious High could probably be each day its own game if you get what I'm saying. But you, like I said, you really meet the characters, but because you're only starting with water at first, there's going to be a bunch of things wrong with the school, you know, lights down, things that need to get connected,
Water fountains that are empty.
water fountains that are empty,
Garbage.
garbage everywhere, pictures that need to get changed in size, a whole bunch of different things. And since you only have water, you can't even fix up the school completely good right away.
It wasn't for lack of trying, though.
No, it took
How much time did you waste trying to fix lights, not realizing that you really can't?
Well, especially because that was more of a late game power you get. So yeah.
But did you try up until you got the power and the ability to do it?
You know it.
Because I would, every time I saw a light, I'm like, oh, let me try. I'll throw it on the ceiling.
And I could even get it in like a gravitational rotation.
Yeah,
around
its own orbit.
I even got it in that orbit, and then I tried to push it with water
Yeah, and
into
it
the
doesn't
spot,
work.
but then it would fall down when it went. I was like, ah.
But you're right. There's so many things that come later on in the game before you can even begin to do something about it.
And not even all of the classrooms are unlocked to start. So the game requires you to progress. And once you go in, there's a grand hall that has a whole bunch of credits to earn in and of itself, but there's kind of a main billboard that has the whole map of the school laid out and will also show you the whole, total amount of credits that can be earned in each room, as well as the amount of credits that you've earned out of 100, the total amount available. And then at the top, there's kind of like a mission ticker in case you ever, lose track of what the next main objective of the story is.
Honestly, I won't lie. Because I didn't spend time really caring. I was just going into like the classrooms and maxing out what I could for credits, go to the next classroom.
Yeah, you'll end up progressing the story just by doing that.
Yeah, and by the time I
Correct.
really started paying attention to what I needed to do, it's like it was shit I was doing anyways.
Correct.
So I'm like, this is perfect because it almost didn't matter.
So that's actually a testament to the game design and the level design of it, that you might not even notice the missions per se of the main story, because again, it like you said, it follows the natural progression that you might take, even though it's a non-linear open world game. I wonder if they did a lot of play tests and they're like, what's the most likely path somebody's going to take with the way we lay out the story? Because they really did nail that in. I didn't even pick up too much on the missions in the billboard, I'll be honest with you, till some of the last missions where it was for an end game puzzle to get a key, and then it was like, go to the whatever Sonic room. I forget what the Sonictorium. I don't remember what the goofy name of it was. And then that's when I really noticed the missions. Otherwise, I agree with exactly like you. I was just going through the game, and the game was progressing.
Having a good time. What was your favorite room?
That's tough. The art room was pretty fun. The music room was great for easy credits. The mind reading room wasn't my favorite for missions, but the side ones were pretty easy to accomplish. I really liked the music one just because it was goofy.
That was my favorite room.
Yeah.
Were you beating on the steel drums a lot?
Yeah, it was really fun. But I did waste a lot of time in the art room. And the thing is, the sport room was silly. And
I wasted more time. This is definitely, I wish I could see like stats on it, but I wasted far more time just playing around and doing dumb shit that almost has no bearing on anything. Like using your move power that you get later on and like grabbing people and pulling them down. And every character reacts to anything you do to them.
Yeah, spray water on them, they'll react. What I wasted far too much time with is you get the power to grow and shrink things, and you can grow
They're not humans.
Their head, I shrunk the shit out of their head all the time. Shrunk their head and made it bigger. And since Owlchemy Lab is very smart with designing their interactions, they'll react to that not only in vocabulary, but the tone and pitch of their voice changes. So it goes super deep if you get it big, more high pitched if you go small with their head. It's really cool. I had a blast doing that.
I throw shit at people to see what they'll say and how they'll react, and
freeze them, throw water everywhere.
Yeah, the freeze one's pretty cool too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I spend so much time just messing around doing nothing. Yeah, they really took interactability and went through the roof on it. So I guess the whole story of the game is you, Prismi, as the new student. First, you have to meet all of your new student peers. You get a good layout of the school. But your whole goal is to put out the mess that was created and fix up the AI and get the school back to functioning like normal. And then you
hell of a thing for your first day at school.
Oh yeah, it's a mess to say the least. But yeah, there's all of your different classrooms, and you go to each one, and in each classroom, you have your main progression of missions, which are pretty simple. You have almost like a token looking thing, and you take it and you put it in the mission object, and then the mission starts. And before you do that, when you pick up the token, it'll tell you a little synopsis of what's going to happen in that mission. So you get a little heads up. I even got a couple plot spoilers in there for the mission, and then I put it in, and then the mission starts. And then each classroom probably has what, like 4 to 5 main missions? Something like that.
With the unlock, yeah.
Yeah, but then
It's usually like 3 missions before you're, I think about 3, and then you're locked out until you
get the power
third.
for the next one.
Correct.
Yeah, so you can't always just clear a classroom right off the start because exactly what you're saying. There's mission or power requirements to continue on some of them. But then besides the 4 or 5 main missions that'll be in each classroom, every classroom also has X amount of bonus side missions for credits, which can be anything in Cosmonious High, including,
Some
but
of
not
them are
limited
so
to,
easy.
yeah, whether it's fixing up, and you'll never really get credits individually for putting a light back,
No.
or anything like that, because that's added up for the total, fix all the lights credit. But there might be, so there's these color objects with a little, it almost looks like an electrical outlet coming out of it, but there'll either be blue, purple, yellow, and you get an ice cube power to make ice cubes. Pretty straightforward. And you put your hand on it, and you have to draw a line and connect it from the same like color. So you have to connect, it's more of a magenta than a purple, but I'll just say purple. Purple to purple, yellow to yellow, blue to blue. And then it's either fixed or unlocks whatever you need to do. So sometimes those will give you a credit. You also have a camera feature in your backpack. You can take it. You can take a photo of yourself, of other people.
It defaults on selfie, I believe.
Yeah, that's how I always found that interesting. But there's like picture frames on the wall that require you to take a picture of something, and they give you almost like a puzzle hint with it of where you have to figure it out. It might say the All-Star. There's one of those in the sports room. You go, who's the All-Star? But if you talk with the students,
You'll figure it out.
yeah, you know who the All-Star is.
It's funny
relative to sports.
because they give you it's almost like a cheat. They give you how to do it, but being able to go find how to do it is a different story, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you kind of need to understand the lore and the personality of the characters in some instances to really connect the dots for the
They'll
picture.
even call them by name, like, go take Freckles' picture.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the only way you're going to know who Freckles is to go talk.
Other times they don't say it directly by name, though. They'll say, and other times it'll be picture of a trash, and they're pretty straightforward. They'll show that, like, hey, go get a picture of the trash. And you literally take a picture of the trash, and then you go and you put the photo in there, and then it blows up big. There's also these, like, I don't know, for lack of a better term, I would say pedestal, but it's not big. It's literally, it looks like a hot plate. There's like a little hot plate for when a little single oven burner type deal. It looks like that, and there's going to be a description of what you need to put there, or some object symbols to help too, and you got to put it right there, then you can get a credit for that. So there's a bunch of different things you can get credits for. And in the rooms on the bonus missions, it'll show a little symbol to kind of, with like a total amount of the bonus mission. So you can kind of see, all right, I see one that's this or that. So you have a rough idea, but then you got to look around the room and really find what those bonus missions are. So it's good. Each room you can get anywhere from, like, on the low end, I think somewhere like as low as 6 and others as high as like 12, with the grand hall being 25.
Yeah, there's some that are pretty generous.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are way easier than others. Like there's one where they want you to make a yearbook or help get the photos for a yearbook, and you have to take a photo of every single character.
Mm-hmm.
That's so much harder of a credit than connecting the color to the color.
Yeah, those are one of my favorite ones because they're easy and you get credit for it.
Yeah. And then there's like in the music room that we loved with the drums that we reference, the missions for those are literally, there's like 3 students. They each make like a, I don't even know how to describe it, like an a cappella noise. They sing, but in Cosmonious High style.
Yeah.
And you have a composer wand, and you move it properly.
Move it in time.
And they make
You're
noise.
setting the time because you can go wicked fast too.
It was so much fun. I loved it, but it was so simple. There was no like struggle, logic, or anything to it.
Can you move your wrist?
Whereas other classroom ones, I would go, whether it was a matter of I spaced off while they were talking or like I was just legitimately stuck. There's others that kind of trumped me for a bit. Like I was stumped.
Right in the beginning, there was, I think, to get my second credit on something, I was a little stumped, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be like this, huh? And then I realized you got to pay attention when you're getting the instructions from the teacher, or
The students interacting or whatever.
and sometimes you got to think outside the box a little,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, they'll show you clearly, like on the board, what you need to do, but sometimes your brain just isn't connecting to how to do it.
No, again, not all credits are earned equally in this game. There's some that are gimmies, and there's some that are really
They're good
really
in how
struggle.
they like created the flow of the game. It was done well, because like you said, there's going to be some things that are going to slow you up a little, and then there's going to be others you're just going to
They're
cruise
gimmies.
through. So it's never a point where anything was so frustrating you were like, I don't want to play this. This is, no. But again, I had way too much time farting around with
Yeah, me
just
too.
doing meaningless shit, dude.
Well, when the first time that I hit a spot that I didn't have enough credits to continue the story, the requirement was 30. And I had, I think, 17 at the time because I had spent so much time doing nothing.
Yeah.
And I was like, these bastards. I get why they did it because now it's smart. Now I can't just blow through the game, only get a total of 25 credits. I'm like, damn it. But they do give you a lot of gimmies with the side ones. So if you're stuck and you don't want to sit through the whole classroom missions, really just explore, It was pretty easy for me to get 10 credits, real quick.
No,
And
once you actually were playing to get the credit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're not
if you're
side-
focused, but they do a great job of distracting you.
And then after I got the 30 credits and I was able to access the room or the classroom that I needed to,
Mm-hmm.
then I only did 1 or 2 classroom missions there. And I'm like, all right, let me see what's next. I'm all excited. It's like, then I go to the next part and they're like, you need 45 credits. And I'm like, smart. But the game ends with that requirement. The total amount of credits you need to beat the game, quote unquote, to beat the story of the game is 45 credits. So just know that, because there's some people that are going to hop into it and I guarantee be like, oh, I'm never going to get 100. And that's cool. I might not be that gamer with this game either, but you don't need every. So don't be stressed if you're like, I can't beat that one. Just don't continue. Like,
Bring it up to 99 and I'll stop there.
I'm sure so
1 credit to go.
in every Owlchemy Lab game, or of the 3 that we've reviewed in this trifecta, Job Sim, Vacation Sim, and Cosmonious, there's something cool that happens when you beat the story of the game. I imagine there's a bonus thing that happens
For
when
100?
you hit 100. I haven't hit 100. I could easily just go
That's
watch
the
a video of
incentive,
this,
too.
but even if I knew, I wouldn't spoil it. I'm not even telling you what happens when you beat the story of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a game you have to get all the credits. Just know that going in, 45 will be the last hard benchmark. And if you're ever stuck, like, none of the classrooms I feel like doing to get more credits, really just walk around. Like I said, you can bang out 10 credits pretty simple just by doing just
Minimal.
things that are just malfunctioned or
If you stay focused to do it.
dude, if you need to go get a photo of a trash can, there's trash cans everywhere. It's so easy, and then
Got distracted from here to there.
but I definitely did waste a lot of time, especially in the beginning, it sounds so silly to say this, getting to know the students of Cosmonious High, going around waving at them and like clicking through all the different personality options. There's one person that wanted me to like help them write a love letter and go place it in another student's locker and like, oh, let me know what they think about it. And I'm like, yo, they're going deep.
Does he like me?
And you never even have to do any of that stuff. It's complete side mission. So this game, as in-depth it is on the surface, if you dig in deeper, it even goes more in-depth. You could definitely waste a lot of time and not pursue the story. Or you could probably beat the game, in several hours, only focusing on streamlining beating it.
Yeah.
I was way too ADD'd out with this game. I was distracted even when I went
Can't
in.
even tell you the amount of time.
I would go in to earn credits and not earn credits.
That happened to me.
Mm-hmm. It's so easy.
More than once.
Yeah.
And then other things, like as you're getting your special powers, what do you think happened when I got ice? I went around and what can I freeze? What can I freeze? Let me tell you, you can freeze a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I would freeze stuff and then spray water on it to thaw it, and then freeze it, and then spray water on it. Just dumb shit.
Well, and guess what? It's Owlchemy Labs, so they're coded in most of the games.
There's some Easter eggs in this game too.
Yeah, there's some good ones. But they've coded those interactions into the game really well. Like we referenced, characters will interact with the powers you're using on them, and there's a good amount of powers in total. You know, they've really, if it seems like that something would interact with something, try it, because they probably will. These developers,
sometimes they even tell you on the puzzle what you have to use to solve it, but it doesn't mean you're just going to solve the puzzle by using it, because there's usually something else you have to do also.
You know, what was another class I had a lot of fun with? The chemistry one. I really like the chemistry lab.
I like the astrology one.
The
with
astrology
the planets,
lab,
because you
yeah.
could throw the planets into the.
And then what was it? The anti-gravity chamber or something like that in the in one of the rooms. I think it might have been the astrology one. You go into it.
Why am I not thinking? I'm not recalling this. I think I'm going crazy.
Yeah, there's like a little chamber. Maybe it wasn't the astrology room.
Because I would take the planets and then, because you have the large and shrink tool, make them big and see what would happen. Then the planet creator, because you can like put anything in the thing and it makes a planet.
And they do.
Then you spray water on it and it makes the planet grow trees, or you can put flame to it. And
exactly. You see a plant, you spray
astrology
water
was
on
my
it.
favorite.
It's gonna grow. It's like if something seems like it would make sense interaction wise, do it. And if it doesn't seem like it would make sense, you should probably do it too, because it'll probably do something as well. And they really hit all the archetypes of teachers as well. You know, the cool teacher, the more rebellious teacher, the principal. Yeah, they do a great job hitting all the different archetypes.
Yeah, I was trying to think of how many different voices are in the whole game. Even if they're the same person making the voice, you know, different character-wise, there's a lot, man. And the fact that they're all interactable, and if you throw water at them, they'll say something. If you freeze them, they'll say something. If you use your grab tool and like move them all around, they'll say something. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I mean, they really did. It's again,
Must have been fun to make though.
I think all of their games have been, because think of the silly ideas. It's the whole game is interaction, which, by the way, I know I glossed over in the beginning. I love when characters give you high fives and fist bumps. I love it. I love it.
I just love when you wave and they're excited to see you.
Yeah, then you have the chat options with them, and you can dig pretty deep in them.
I had more fun in this than I did in real high school.
I can agree with that.
Had my attention more.
You know, I need to go back into Job Sim, because my brain still has Job Sim as the number one, but maybe that's just the way my brain's remembering it and not the actual reality. But I do rank Cosmonious above Vacation Sim, and that's nothing bad to Vacation Sim. I gave it a great score when we reviewed it, but
one of them was an 85, one was a 90.
Yeah, and that's fitting. You know, it's a great
This
game.
one was my favorite.
I think I was a little taken back when I first hopped into it as to how child friendly it felt with the bright color for colors. And you're in high school, and they really play up some high school stereotypes.
Kept my attention.
But no, it's good. It really grew on me. There was even one point, I remember the point where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this right this second. But I was like, but it's awfully easy for me to waste 30 minutes in it doing nothing. So I guess I'm enjoying it, right? I mean, if I can just kill 30 minutes and make no progress because I was having fun squirting people.
Squirting water.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, no, this is a good game. And then by the end, yeah, there reached a point where I was like, all right, finish the game, dude. You know, and I had to.
Oh, I get it.
I had to bite down on the mouthpiece and.
Dude, I
and
talked to
it.
Even though me talking to the characters means nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll talk back to them.
I'm surprised
someone one of the aliens needed they lost their school ID. So I was like, no worries, I got you, I'll find it. I'm gonna start opening up all the lockers.
That's gonna be the next thing Owlchemy does is voice chat with chat GBT built in, and just wait till their next one, I'm sure.
I wonder what they're going to do next.
Yeah. And when I say bite down on the mouthpiece and finish the game, I don't mean that because it was a struggle to play. Just to clarify, I mean that because like I was just going to spend too much time doing nothing,
Being
but
distracted.
talking to people and waving and throwing stuff and hitting hoops. There's even like these things that are locked throughout the whole school that you later get a power to open and grab things and move things. Then you can throw basketballs through it. Well, I won't call them basketballs, but you throw these balls through, and that's another one where it's like
Balls is life.
yeah. According to Honk is his name. Dude, the game's so silly. All the characters are goofy, unique personalities. Like I said, they hit stereotypes with it. You know, it's good. This is everything Owlchemy Labs built from Job Sim and Vacation Sim. Just absolutely run wild upon a high school.
Yeah, I mean, again, I can only imagine like the fun it was to really make it.
Mm-hmm.
Or even I would have liked to have heard the conceptual conversation that took place about what it was going to be.
Yeah, whose idea was this one?
Because no, it's definitely it's original, and it's funny because like you said, the first two kind of the same lore.
They're absolutely the same universe. Some
where
similar characters.
This one, you're not at all the same lore. You don't have to listen to the human thing, which I'm again. This one was my favorite.
You know what's
of the three? I like this one the most, even though it's not really fair to say compared to the other two, because the other two were, again, follow offs of each other, but this one is not. So.
And I actually think this one has the most potential with lore. Like, I have so many questions about the game.
Think they'll do Cosmonious College?
I was wondering if the next game in their series
Cosmonious Academy
is going to be a whole new, brand new spin-off of something new, or if they're going to continue on the Cosmonious IP, because there actually is a lot.
Spring Break.
Because there is actually a lot of potential with Cosmonious, especially once you dig into it. And as kid-friendly of a game as it seemed at first, it's just kid-friendly, but I think any age can have a great time in it. I don't mean that as it's a game just for kids. I hope
so, because I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I might be a kid at heart, but I enjoyed this one.
I didn't get the kid vibe like you.
Well, I just think it's a very kid-friendly game. I think you could throw a 10-year-old in this game, an 8-year-old, and they're going to stick in it for months. Dude. But there are some hard puzzles. I mean, maybe
I don't see no.
Maybe I'm just a fool.
Puzzles.
But yeah, I definitely
You're just
struggled.
A kid at heart.
I struggled at times on
man.
some of the classrooms or some of the puzzles.
Again, one of the early ones too. I was like, how the hell do I do this? This doesn't make sense.
I will say there were some times,
and they're clearly telling you, by the way,
if you're stuck, sometimes you can wave at the students or the teachers near you. And they'll give some decent advice. Sometimes, not every time.
Sometimes they'll just repeat it until you get it sunk into your freaking head
like,
to do
what am I missing?
Or just leave and then you can go do something else.
There's times that I was stuck on something. When I come back, I suddenly figure it out.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious sometimes.
Yeah, I won't lie.
But again, it's a tough balance if you go in there. If you go, like you said, if you go in there with intent.
I'm just going to beat this game as fast as possible.
I don't think... Even trying once to get just credits, I got distracted.
Yeah.
By because dude, you go past some lockers and you're like,
yeah,
let me open it. Cause there's, other collectibles in there you want to try to get. If you're really a completionist, there's these like cards that you can pick up and they're hidden all over the friggin' place. So anytime I see something, I want to pick it up to I can fit no more money in my backpack. It's full. So there's still money littered around this. Because that's the thing. It's a weird school because not only is it like on fire.
It's a weird school. Yeah, hell yeah, it is.
It's all on fire and nobody's really panicking about it. They just, hey, that's cool. You're putting out the fire and things been burning. And there's fires going on in classrooms that you can't even get into until you get into like I think the sports area. Yeah. You go in there and there's fires everywhere.
I don't think you could get to the music room right away. I think you had to climb through something to get there.
Go in there and then you got to fix sometimes.
How long has this been burning?
Yeah, there's no fire system here.
There'll be like an electrical thing freaking out. You got to spray ice on. You're
Thank
like, damn.
God you're here with that water power. That's all we're saying.
There's even a teacher that you meet. You get the ability to read minds later. And he's like, thank goodness you're here, Prismi. The prophecy has begun. And it's like, what?
The prophecy.
What?
hidden to future lore.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. If Prismi wasn't there,
School would burn it. Well, I guess if it wasn't for you, but what if another student was in that accident and had no special powers to get and
right? I like how
or got hurt?
There's some students who are like, add that to the list of things I'm going to tell my parents that went down today. It's like there's got to be a Cosmonious too, you know.
I'd love to see also the what were the jokes that didn't make it because they were like, yeah, you know, we're not NC-17 because some of the characters they're funny, man. And or I recommend spraying water in people's faces.
Yeah. And you can put items on yourself and stuff like that in other games.
No shortage.
I do wish you had the ability to customize your character because it's your character, like appearance wise, because it's a little unique to you. I mean, your Prismi, yeah, they give you.
You know, my biggest complaint in the whole world, though.
No smooth turn.
Yeah,
I was actually waiting to bring that up.
Yeah, and my only freaking complaint, and I don't punish them for it in functionality because the game functions, but do I wish that they had a smooth turn? Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. They pride themselves a lot on accessibility. And in fact, they have text to speech, not text to speech, but like, you know, you'll be able to like anything written, it'll read out, and they have some colorblind.
They're known for their accessibility.
Yeah. Accessibility is a huge thing to Owlchemy Labs, and they do a great job with like high level accessibility, if that makes sense.
Forgetting the low level stuff.
They kind of do beyond
there has to be a reason though.
There's no smooth walking either, which I can concede in this game. That's more of a gameplay decision or like a game design decision because I can see maybe somebody would say you need the teleport, whatever, even though other games have let you smooth walk, but also teleport when needed, like Red Matter. No smooth turn. I don't see the logic in personally. And I understand studies that show that the majority of users, it's a better experience, snap turn than smooth turn, but that doesn't mean that you need to not have the option. You just find default to snap turn, but you should still have smooth turn in the options. In fact, snap turn actually, I know I'm in the minority, and that's not what the studies and the data say, and that's fine, because the studies don't say 100% of people either, but I kind of get a lot more uncomfortable with snap turn. You know, I'm more likely to get nauseous.
It's immersion breaking.
Yeah.
Snap turn or teleport movement, both of those two. They're not deal killers. It didn't. I guess I wasn't as harsh. If this was a different style game, I'd probably be really critical about it. But because it is what it is. I mean,
well, here's
in the high school environment, it's not as and the style of gaming. But I don't know why.
It's less room scale based than the other two games. So based off of that, the exclusion of not having snap turn, of not having smooth turn or smooth walking with the ability to still teleport when needed. I'm going to sound a little harsh on this, but it's only because they're a top studio who prides themselves on accessibility. It's a little inexcusable. But another complaint besides the teleporting and the snap turn only, you know, smooth baby, just at least give me the option, is that I can't adjust any audio settings of music or voice or master audio. And I'm a firm believer that the settings of snap turn to smooth turn and your walking locomotion, as well as audio control settings, are essential. Because there's times that maybe we're playing in party chat.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but it exists. What games don't have audio sliders? Even Hubris, like single-player games, Red Matter, they all do.
I don't argue that.
And we're not alone on that. And there's times that I don't want to just have, for whatever reason, I don't want to have the whole volume of my entire system down, but I want to control different aspects of the audio. So the only reason I'm a little bit critical of them, besides its features that I believe every game should have as a bare minimum, is local motion settings as well as audio settings, is the kind of braggadocious attitude about accessibility, you know? Don't tell me you're the spiciest food in the world, but then be mild, you know? Then I won't criticize you for being mild food if you don't brag about being spicy, but then you brag about being spicy and you're mild. It's kind of tough, right? So that's kind of why I'm a little bit more critical with it versus if they'd never like kind of went forward about how big of accessibility was, which I pride them so much. Accessibility to them, it sounds like it's much more for like
The majority?
well, like people with like colorblind versus, preference settings. I think that that's more what accessibility means to them, is making their game accessible to everybody who wouldn't be able to even play the game without those features. But the reality is accessibility, in my opinion, does extend a little bit to preference, and you have to have those preference settings.
It's interpretive.
Yeah, but they do have a small person mode, which is cool. And most of the things like other Owlchemy Labs games,
Adjustable.
you can grab the shelf, adjust the height. And again, they take all the interaction that they built upon in past games of theirs, set it on fire, pumped it full of steroids, let it go wild, added whole new dialogue interactions, really building unique personalities to each one of these characters and teachers, created a whole new lore, whole new universe. They didn't just build off of something easily that was already existing like they could have done, with nobody probably would have complained. I know you were pretty ready to move on from the robots, though, so you were definitely hyped to have a new universe. And to be honest with you, I think they've actually created an IP with Cosmonious that, like you said, Cosmonious College, they could go crazy with this. So huge props to them on it. My only criticisms is the locomotion, the lack of locomotion settings, and the lack of audio settings. Other than that, I mean, great stuff. Did I mention the price of the game at the start? $29.99 as well. Like I said, March 31st, 2022, 3.3 gigabytes, all that stuff. Anything about the game that we didn't talk about with like the way it works?
We
I think we
definitely
covered
didn't
it.
ruin any surprises about it.
Yeah, at the end of the game, no, I'm just kidding. No,
at the very end, when you get to 100, this happens.
Yeah, they do a great job with each classroom being unique too, and again, each character being unique, and you'll see the same characters in different classrooms too. So you get a little like, oh, there's Glab or whoever, Honk. So great stuff from Owlchemy Labs. Excited to see what they do next. Endless potential with this one.
Very curious what they do next.
Yeah,
whether they're going to continue down this road or just
a
go
new
totally
something.
different.
Yeah,
totally different direction.
They're one of those studios, though. I'm pretty confident in anything with their name on it. So I'm excited to see what comes next. And let's take a moment. We'll take a message from our sponsors. Take a quick little ad break, help keep the lights on. We'll be back with you in just a moment with our final thoughts and ratings. How's this game stack up in comparison to past Owlchemy Labs when it comes to the Ruff Talk VR rating system? You'll find out after this break. And also don't forget to join our Discord, join our official Patreon with some cool listener perks like on-air shout-outs, access to our official or access to a Patreon-only chat room in our Discord server, your name across the bottom of a ticker on the screen. So a whole bunch of cool tiers. Can't stress enough how cool our Discord server is. Great mods, great activities, in-game meetups, whole bunch of Ghost of the Board discussion. I think there's Ghost of the Board discussion with anything with our names on it.
Especially with
Tabor Radio, baby.
Yeah, and if you're looking, we said it the other day, but if you need someone to help your hand getting started in Ghost of Tabor, add King Canuck and Brain
Spam. They're
Spam.
Awfully good at the game. So great community in our Discord, and be sure to subscribe on YouTube as well. We're on our goal to hitting 1,000 subs. Day by day we're chipping away. So subscribe, like, comment there, help boost up our videos, and be sure to subscribe, rate us 5 stars on whatever podcast platform you listen on. That helps us a bunch. Also gets your episodes ASAP, or gets our new episodes ASAP. And I can't stress enough how much joining our Patreon helps us go full time one day. So other than that, we'll be back with you in just a moment with our final thoughts and rating. This podcast is brought to you by Kiwi Design, the leader in MetaQuest and VR accessories. And now you can deck out your device while supporting the podcast. The MetaQuest 2 is a great headset, but do you ever feel things could be a bit more comfortable? Well, we have the solution for you. With lens protectors, controller grips, face covers, head straps, link cables, headset stands, and more, including my 2 personal favorites, the top version controller grips with added weight and an extended handle, and the Kiwi upgraded Elite strap. Let's be real, we've all whacked our controller. Don't be the guy messaging Oculus support for your own mistake or waiting weeks for an out-of-stock controller. Visit the link in our show notes to prepare yourself today. After visiting the link in our show notes, make sure to use the promo code Ruff Talk VR at checkout, all one word, to take full advantage of your savings. And make sure to click the link in our show notes so the podcast gets credit and you help support us. Remember, whatever you need, Kiwi has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unleash the beach beast within you. This summer, Manscaped is here to help you level up your beach game with their new Beard Hedger Pro Kit. They're going past waist deep in the grooming game and diving in headfirst into your facial hair fantasies. The Beard Hedger is a game changer, allowing you to shape your beard like a true beach babe. So this summer, let the beach balls bounce and turn heads all over the place. Visit manscaped.com and use the code word RuffTalkVR for 20% off and free shipping. It's time to tame your mane. So say goodbye to all your stubble trouble with Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. So no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. Plus, it's waterproof, so you can shave in the shower to avoid all the hair in the sink. The titanium coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single stroke efficiency. That brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit doesn't even end there though. They've created 4 dermatologist tested formulations for your post-trim care. First, there's the beard shampoo and conditioner. You need to remember all your hair is different. Your beard hair is more coarse and easier to damage than the hair on your head. That's why the kit has made shampoo and conditioner specifically designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, replace natural oils, and promote beard health. Next, the kit has Manscaped's beard oil. This helps relieve dryness both on the beard and under the skin beneath while adding a little shimmer and shine. Cap off the kit with the Beard Balm, pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look to attract any fellows or dames. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts, a beard brush, comb, and scissors to ensure your beard is ready to impress. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code RuffTalkVR at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and be sure to use the code word RuffTalkVR. Manscaped Beard Hedger, 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths.
And we're back. So it's been a couple weeks since the Hubris review. I don't remember who went first last time. Do you want to kick off with this one, or do you want me to?
Doesn't matter.
All right. So like always with our review system, 5 categories, 1 to 20. You know, gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, replayability, and value. Something that's interesting to note with this game that we didn't talk about right before the ad break or anything. Dude, they give you like 12, they're like 10. 8, it's an exaggeration, but they give you a shit ton of save slots too. So
more than you'll ever need.
Yes, the whole family can each have
2.
yeah, and the dog and the cat. So those are the categories. Like I said, gameplay, aesthetics, functionality, replayability, and value. Each rated 1 to 20, with the total being the final score. So I'll kick it off with gameplay. I think that was probably the easiest category in this game. Easy 20. If you look at it, like I said, with the interaction they built on the previous games, they really just go crazy. So the game's a blast. Whole bunch of puzzles, some repetitive ones, like you'll see the same ones pop up, but then a whole bunch of unique ones in the classrooms. Each of the classrooms are incredibly unique. So great job. You know, you don't need to do 100 credits either, which I love that they don't made it a requirement. And the milestones that you have to hit, like I said, 30, 45, it's pretty reasonable. I'm sure you had to hit 15 at one point, but I had already had 15, I'm sure. So gameplay, 20 out of 20. Really did a great job in that one. Waving, talking with the students, squirting water on them, freezing them, shrinking their heads, moving stuff. You can just kill so much time in Cosmonious High. Aesthetics, I'm also going to give them a 20 on aesthetics. It's not the best graphics I've ever seen, but it's such a unique color scheme and vibe. You would know instantly it's Cosmonious High from a screenshot. You know, it's so unique with the characters. The voice acting is great. The in-game soundtracks are great. The sound effects are great. Like you said, when you're spraying them with water, everything's great with the aesthetics of the game. They really get you immersed in the world of Cosmonious High. The only thing that lacks in immersion is nothing with the aesthetics. It's the lack of smooth turn and smooth moving. But the aesthetics, 20 out of 20. Functionality. you're going to disagree with me on this. That's fine. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. I didn't have any in-game glitches and it didn't crash, no frame rate drops. In fact, for sometimes the amount of stuff that you could have going on, for there to not be frame rate drops, is quite impressive. Even when you get a new power, it's like your hands start to vibrate, you get mad haptic feedback, you go into this crazy mode, these things are coming at you, you bop them, and then you get your new power. The game's got a lot pushing it at times. However, the lack of smooth turn, smooth turn, smooth moving, the lack of audio settings. I'm gonna be a risk. I know I'm critical, but I'm going 15 out of 20 on functionality on that regard. I think those are kind of essential features. It would be like if the game didn't have subtitles. I would go, ugh, that's hard, But it does have subtitles. That's awesome. It's missing some basic preference options, but nothing to do with the actual game like play itself. So 15 out of 20 on functionality. Replayability, I'm going to give it 15 out of 20 as well. It's not a game that you beat the story and you're done with, unless you were just a perfectionist all the way through, but I don't see that happening. A lot of the story progression, again, happens organically without you even realizing that there's these set missions, but you'll probably beat the game before, getting all the credits, and there's tons of incentive to go back and keep having fun and keep interacting. It won't go on forever, but they do a good job with replayability. I'm going to give them 15 out of 20 on replayability as well. And then value. The game is $29.99. It's on the more expensive side of the store. This is probably going to be another category we disagree, but I'll give them 20 out of 20. When you look at hours to invest in the game, depending on your play style, if you're somebody that goes in and just boom, 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 they're done with the game, boom, that's it, it's over, you're probably going to have 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours in the game. But if you're like me, if you're like how I know you are, you're going to waste a day and get nothing done, and just you could kill as much time in this game as you want, So value, I think there's $30 worth of value in this game, especially with all the voice acting and how polished it is. So yeah, 20 out of 20 on value. So 20 gameplay, 20 aesthetics, 15 functionality, 15 replayability, and then 20 value, 90 out of 100, which is a great score. A score rating. If it was like school, to be relative to Cosmonious, they're getting an A.
Yeah, I don't know if they have the same grading system as we do, though.
No, it probably
Seems
starts
to just
at
be credit based.
some like algebra.
It's a pass fail type situation.
No, it's like an equation. It's like QY7 squared.
Right. All right. So I actually don't disagree with. We're not too far off, I don't think.
I wouldn't be surprised, sorry to interrupt, if we end up with the same total score, but in different ways, because that also sometimes happens.
It's possible. I know the answer already. Gameplay, I give them a 20. It was actually a lot more fun than I thought it would be. But again, I really enjoyed all the interactiveness for something that's not really a small game either. So there was always something to do. If you didn't want to, I guess, go to school, you could just roam the halls and just fart around and try different things. And you get these powers. And by the end, when you have all the powers, well, now I'm going back and I'm retrying shit to see what it might do on something else. But I give them a 20 for keeping me occupied. Aesthetics, I give them a 15. I think we disagree there. They're not bad graphics. I think for what they do it as a 20. But as an overall, I'm sticking to a 15. But all the effects and sounds, they're good. I just don't give it an overall 20. Functionality, I give them a 20. I don't know what the reason for making me snap turn in teleport is. I don't know. I do agree with you 100% with the sound settings. Like if I had a choice between smooth turn or sound settings, I'd probably take the sound settings. Because I do agree. And then, what if you are on party chat, which they're not promoting you should be doing anyways, but sometimes when we do that, I like to turn down various elements of the game, like narrative. I'll keep nice and loud, but maybe master volume for the audio. For sound effects, I'll turn down. But I had no jank, no nothing. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things you can do. You can shrink things, expand things, shoot things with water, ice, throw it. Some things have orbits. Some of the rooms have their own solar systems going on. I mean, it all worked. I never once froze, locked. Even the quick loads that might take place in between leaving a classroom and going to another area was, it was fast. It didn't feel like, oh, old school loading screen. But I give him a 20. Replayability, I mean, I agree. I thought I'd actually have a lower score for replayability, but I give him a 15 just because even if you did everything, there's still stuff you can go in and just play around if you really wanted. But they also give you the more saves than you'd ever possibly need in your lifetime. So, I mean, I don't know. You could have a save for every classroom if you wanted. But a replayability of 15. I actually found myself going in there just killing time sometimes more than having a purpose because it was fun. And I also agree with you with the talking to all the different people. It's like you almost feel compelled to everybody you see. You're like, hi. And you're waving your hand because it's like, I want to see what they say. Or the people that'll call you over because, they want you to pass a love note or find my lost student ID, or it's cool. It felt organic, even though it was programmed in, but it someone was excited to see my character, wants me to help them out on top of putting out the fires and fixing the plumbing and the water fountains and the light bulbs. And, but replayability 15 and value for money. I was on the cusp of a 15, 20. Because I'm like, well, $24.99 would seem more favorable. But if you really are a completionist, it's worth the money. It's like 100 credits that's a long hustle. You're not whipping that out in a couple hours. So I'll give them a 20. Same score as you, though, a 90. Just got there in a different way.
And I could totally see if somebody was able to get 100 in a couple hours following a tutorial, like a walkthrough video where they knew everything, or on a second save.
Could you?
So
Could you really?
But somebody going in blind? No,
Nah, dude.
no way.
It's going to take you multiple
sessions. So it's so much fun. And
you're getting a lot of content.
I'm always amazed at what we're able to talk about for an hour and not include in our review. Sometimes we miss something, like the backpack, your entire menu of the game. In classic Owlchemy fashion, they can't just have a pop-up menu that you click through. It's you press the left controller pause button, and it pulls up a backpack that you can slide through on the bottom, where it goes through inventory, the different accessibility settings that they do have, a collection of, one that shows like all the different credits to earn,
camera, your money.
Camera one. Yeah, there's a bunch of different stuff. The camera feature is very well done in the game. Yeah. They do a great job. The
first time I pulled out that camera, because I was standing near someone, I pulled it out and I was like aiming at them, but I'm like, why am I looking at two people?
It's like, it's me.
I had no idea. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah,
that's what I look like. I'm Prismi.
Yep. Never really paid much mind to Prismi.
Yeah, Prismi.
But I am Prismi.
Yeah, you get by the end when you have all your different powers too, you're just blowing through the school.
And people like you at this school. It's not like people see you and go, get out of here.
Yeah, you're Prismi. And something that you kind of alluded to, and it's so true, just to kind of expand on it, they do a great job making the high school feel alive. For being, like you said, all programmed in.
Yeah.
All pre-scripted.
Like you said, it felt like organic interaction.
It felt alive. It felt like, if anything, you leave the game when you're done with it going, I want to see what the next day of Cosmonious High looks like. And it's one of those, I want to see what happens next. So the fact that that's how the game leaves you feeling is good.
They could really ride out that whole world that they've created.
I'm confident in anything Owlchemy Labs does at this point. I see Reggie sniffing the air, which means his mom was probably cooking some nice food. I see the nose going in there. That was
I got to
funny.
Do some begging.
Yeah, he's like, I'm out. I love you guys and all. Podcasting's fun, but when meat calls, food.
Union rules. I get my required break.
Yeah, bro. 3 episodes this week. recording wise, but 2 are Ruff Talk, and that's all I'll say. Everybody that's been following Tabor Radio and everything, that's enough. That
They'll figure it out.
yeah. Which, by the way, go subscribe to Tabor Radio, the official Ghost of Tabor podcast.
Is your thing.
You know what? It's so funny. I didn't want to like push heavy, like, oh, it's the official Ghost of Tabor podcast, but then they shared it on Twitter.
I wasn't gonna.
They shared it on Twitter, and they're like, I was like, see, yeah, they said it. Now I'll say it. So I'm always funny like
good
that.
Good stuff happening on that side of things.
Yeah, and Cosmonious, good game. A lot of good games coming out. Some good games on our backlog. You know, we've completed the trifecta.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think schedules.
It would be awesome if they shadow dropped a game next week. Because we'd have to be all over it quick.
We'd be like, just when we complete it. Sorry, folks, we got one more coming.
I'm gonna day one for whatever they drop.
Yeah, it's a good. The name. It's well earned reputation. You know, they speak for themselves.
Good folks.
Good folks.
Good folks over there at Owlchemy.
Good folks with good games. You know, hopefully one day we can get them on the show. I don't know how well our weekend schedule requirements are lining up with them, but that's all the more reason to become a Patreon. Help us.
We'll
go full time, you know, then we can start to do stuff on weekdays in terms of recording. Definitely opens up the doors to a lot more possibilities, live streaming, all that stuff. But, you know, day by day, the journey continues, and Cosmonious High review is in the books. So stay tuned for what's coming next week. Believe it or not, August is pretty much all booked up with interviews. So
yeah,
that's the way things go. You know, we're going to be booking into September now. We have our showcase, our gaming showcase in February. We have our award show at the end of the year. PAX East is going to come in no time. Who knows what else Combat Waffle Studios is going to put out between now and, you know, PAX of next year. You know, you hear them talk about other projects, and
I'd love to see them at PAX.
So, oh my goodness,
cool.
wait till they hit the conventions, and then you could try a raid,
dude.
Imagine if you could try a raid, they have like a little private.
You know how busy they're.
Goodness.
Even if they use dedicated server for.
Oh my goodness, so much potential. So
yeah,
busy times in the Ruff Talk VR world, but all for good reasons. Go join our Patreon. Go join our Discord server. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe on podcast platforms. Rate us 5 stars. Go check out Tabor Radio, and we'll be back.
Coke and a smile.
Have a Coke and a smile, and enjoy the rest of your day. All right, ciao.